Thank you for joining us for another look at Persona 5. In our last video, we took a look at some of the differences between Personas 4 and 5. And if you missed that, you can find it on the GameSpot YouTube channel. Subscribe while you're there and you'll get all the latest Persona videos as and when we put them out. Tamoor, what are we doing this time?
This time around, we're going to be delving into some of the activities you can do in Tokyo in Persona 5.
Yeah, so again, this is English language gameplay, and it takes place just after we cleared the second palace, the second dungeon. And you can see there's lots of things you can do in Tokyo, obviously, to up your stats.
Cinema.
So you can go to the cinema.
You can make coffee.
You can make coffee. So coffee, if you brew it, obviously because you're staying in a cafe, you can brew coffee. And if you take it into the palaces, they restore some of your SP.
One of the very rare items in the game that does restore SP.
Yes. Beware of your SP levels as you go through the game.
Yeah, I think it's a very smart way of reducing grind.
Yes.
And kind of kicking you out of the palaces.
Yeah. So here we're reading. So obviously reading can up your knowledge on other different skills, but if you read some magazines or some leaflets, you can unlock new areas of Tokyo. So here we've got Harajuku.
Where you can take some confidants there if you want to woo them.
Yeah, if you think that they might like the glitzy, fashionable streets of Harajuku, you can take them down there. You can also rent DVDs. And I've got to say, shout out to the localization because some of these are incredible.
Guy McVer.
And here we're watching the X Folders, and it has a character in it called Skullsy, which is just perfect.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time watching DVDs in this game, and it's adorable because your little cat Morgana is there with you the whole time, making interesting insights and observations about each show.
Yeah, but I also love the fact that Morgana sits like this.
Like
just a really classy way of sitting there.
It's after the extended session of watching, so at the end of it, he'll prop himself up and be like, "Oh, here you go."
I also put this one in because this is just fun. This is a good way to increase your guts, both figuratively and literally, eating giant burgers at Big Bang Burger.
Yeah, so it's a challenge, an eating challenge.
And here you can just have a bath with naked men.
Which increases your charm, and if you come back on certain days, it has
Mondays and Thursdays.
Improved effect on your charm, so you get more charm bonuses from it.
So one time earlier you said it reduces grind. So what happens now is once you've completed the palace and stolen the treasure, the palace collapses, so you can't go back into them and grind sort of as you did in previous Personas. So they have this place, which is Mementos, and it's kind of like the collective unconscious, basically, of everyone. And so what you have to do is you have to bring the Phantom Thieves together, hold a meeting, and you have to decide unanimously whether to take down a target. And so all you need is, because you nip into Mementos, they're evil, but not evil enough to have like a mind palace.
Yeah, so they just have slightly distorted desires. It's often people being like, my boss is a bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
Or, my mum is being really mean to me and ruining my life. So that you go in there and find these people. And this is what people will know to be like the traditional Persona experience.
Yeah.
You go up and down these kind of like generated on-the-fly levels, kind of finding items and defeating enemies, and eventually come to a boss, which is they're not very difficult, but they offer just enough challenge for you to not kind of like breeze your way through it.
Yeah, and what's this? Morgana is now a bus.
It's a cat bus.
There is a very clever bit of exposition as to why Morgana is a cat bus, but obviously because the air in Mementos doesn't look the nicest, and it's quite a large area. Morgana turns into a bus to take you around, and you can nip from floor to floor.
Yep. Here we have the hold-up mechanic, which has been... Hold up. So you get the chance to either do an all-out attack or collect, or negotiate and collect the persona, Pokemon style. Yeah,
later on in the game, there is a Confidant who is a politician, and he can help you with negotiating. So you can sort of say to them, give me all your money. Or you can ask for items, which is like, if they can sometimes give you one item, but you can sometimes use it to get, I think I've gotten 3 items from them before, just by sort of yelling, give me items.
And you can also get money out of them, which is good.
So here,
This is an opportunity to show off one of the cool...
So this is where I do a baton pass.
Which the animations for these are always so cool, like the high five and then turn back.
Yeah.
So when you hit a weakness...
Boosh.
And you get your extra turn. You have an opportunity. You can ability unlock later on to pass on your turn to someone else.
Yeah,
and kind of exploit weaknesses further.
But not only that, it gives the person who you pass the baton to like added attack and recovery, and like if you get further on in the game and you have loads of different enemies with loads of different weaknesses, there is so much fun to be had by just like chaining.
Yeah.
And you just deal ridiculous amounts of damage.
It's a really clever combo system.
Yeah.
Built in an RPG, which aren't traditionally known for having combo systems in this kind of fashion. It's really good.
So here is the girl who was... so the way that we find these people in Mementos is the Phantom Thieves, which is the group you belong to, have a fan site, the PH.
Yeah.
And people can post on there and say if there's a baddie they want taken down, then they can post their name on the fan site, and you can decide, you as a team have to decide unanimously if you'll go take them out.
Yeah,
so
and that information is brought to you by Mishima, who's one of your confidants.
he is a very enthusiastic confidant.
Yeah,
I like it.
He's the peak fanboy, and he's kind of like running PR and marketing for you.
Yeah, which is so strange to think about.
Yeah, and it's like you have this really cool relationship with him because you don't actually reveal who you are, that you're one of the Phantom Thieves, but you're constantly talking to him. So there's kind of like, I know you are, but I'm not going to say it. And that relationship develops in a really interesting way the further on you get into the game.
So this is the shadow of a girl who was treating her boyfriend in like a really degrading way, like being horrible to him in public and just generally degrading him. But I don't think he was into it, which is very...
So it popped up on the fan site. And we're here to. And a lot of these cases, some of them are simple as this is the person's name. Others, it's like you need to do a little bit of scouting and information gathering before you can figure out what the real story is, because you need to have their name. And sometimes it will just be a rumor of someone doing something instead of this person is doing a thing. So you may have to go and work in the store, in the convenience store.
Yeah, so you can work in the convenience store, or I did one where I had to work in the flower store, but not just for one day. You have to do it for like a few days, and then maybe your boss will give you a bit of information, or you walk past someone on the street and you can hear it. So it's quite cool. I see here, look at me exploiting them weaknesses.
Good work here.
So interestingly, in this state, when it's like a mini boss like this, you can't negotiate with them, or at least maybe just my levels weren't high enough at that point. But I'm currently like 50 hours in, and I haven't been able to negotiate with a mini boss just
One of the
yet.
things I like is if you lose to these boss/mini boss style enemies, it doesn't make you restart the whole floor or even kick you straight back out. It just lets you restart the battle, which is a very welcome time-saving and frustration diminishing addition to the game. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I really like that a lot. I see taking them out.
Quick, smart.
Exploiting them weaknesses. Of course, the stylish as ever
transitions
and XP up screens. Oh, and here is the super cool sort of transition screen to the infiltration log. So you get this every time you go into Mementos, but you also get it when you go into palaces, and it tells you how far through the dungeon you are, which is really nice because then you can basically plan your time really efficiently. And
it's also satisfying to leave the dungeon and see how much or how little you've done. I love it. I love coming out of a dungeon and having it all stack up after one session. You've done all this and you've got all the way to the end of the dungeon. Nice work.
Yeah. And it is possible to do that in some cases in like one day, although it will take it out of you a lot if you maybe don't have any SP items. But here we have a couple of the social links. I haven't put too much of this in.
I've seen quite a bit of Tai Takemi here.
Yes.
She is a local doctor who lives by your home, and she's got an interesting story. She's kind of known to be a bit of a quack doctor, which is quite fun. But you get to spend a lot of time with her and help her figure things out. And in return, you get specific items which are kind of built to either help you revive, regain HP in battle, or kind of other small trinkets. Yeah,
so she sells really good items the further along her confidant rank, I guess, if you increase that. She sells really good stuff, especially there's one accessory that increases SP in between each turn, you regain a little bit of SP, which is super, super useful.
She's also one of the characters that you can make your bae.
What? Can you?
I think so.
I mean, I'm getting to
I hope so, because I am...
I've been giving her gifts. I gave her a little cactus that she liked. Also, what's really cool is spending time with your confidants increases your general stats. So don't feel like you have to spend all your time doing specific stat boosting activities. If you go with the confidants, you can increase things like taking part in those clinical trials gives you guts. I think working for Iwai increases your proficiency, I want to say.
Yeah. So a lot of these, similar with the shops and stuff you visit, they can double up on the types of qualities that it will improve. For example, you can study at a place and increase your knowledge as well as
your guts if you only order one thing.
Yeah.
So that's all for this another look at Persona 5. For more, make sure, of course, you subscribe to GameSpot on YouTube, and we will hopefully have some more Persona 5 for you very soon.
This'll let you